Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about how to keep a romantic relationship strong. So this could be a marriage or it could be just a relationship right now. Perhaps you're not got to that stage where you're getting married or you're married. It could be obviously for fiancés as well. But basically, how do you keep a romantic relationship strong over the long term? Because what I see happening a lot, and it's so common, it's kind of scary, and that is when people get into a relationship, they stop putting their best foot forward and they start becoming lazy with the relationship. Because when you first start dating someone, you dress up, you take care of yourselves, you're always like going out with each other, you're always doing new and different things and enjoying yourselves, and then as the time kind of progresses, that kind of level of enthusiasm for each other kind of dips, and then you're kind of wondering and you're getting upset like, oh my god, they don't treat me like how they used to, they don't love me like they used to. And it's like, well, yeah, because you haven't continued to stay up to that standard. When you get into a relationship, it's really important that you understand that the way you got your partner is how you keep your partner. You have to continue doing those little things that you used to do. You have to carry on dating each other. You have to carry on putting your best foot forward and don't let your appearance slide. You have to stay basically at that level. Now, obviously things happen, like for example, maybe you have kids, or maybe you start getting more work commitments at your job. When those kinds of things happen, you instead of like just saying, well, I just don't have time, and coming up with dumb excuses like that, you have to, make time. You have to get a babysitter, right? Or you just have to kind of like schedule in some time where you two can go out on a date. And it may be the case that you can only do this once a month, but you still got to find the time. If you're not finding the time, basically what you're saying is that this person is not a priority, because you always have time. You can always find the time if you are really committed to it, right? You can. I don't care what anybody says. You can find the time if you're committed to finding the time. You've got enough time to watch Netflix. You've got enough time to watch movies. Why haven't you got enough time to go out on a date with each other? You got to make the time. Then there's no excuse for it, basically. And because if your relationship is sliding, if things are really miserable right now, the only person that you've got to blame is yourself. I think my relationship with my wife became so much better when I realized that I am 100% responsible for my romantic relationship with my wife. I am 100% responsible, right? Because I'm responsible for how I react to her. I'm responsible for putting my best foot forward. And as long as I'm always doing that and making time for her, then our relationship is fine. It's only when I slide on those things that it starts to dip a bit and we don't have as a strong relationship, right? I'm 100% responsible for my relationship. And at least I'm 100% responsible, right, for what I do in that relationship. So if I want to spend time with my wife, then I have to make time for it. I have to say to her, hey, I think it'd be really good if we do this on this day, or something like that. Like, you have to be 100% responsible for it. And it's like, you hear some people when they say, like, well, it should be 50-50. And it's like, the thing that you're not getting with that kind of thing is you can't just like meet someone 50-50. You have to always be 100% in it. You can't just be like, oh, I'll do a little bit and then I'm expecting them to do a little bit. No, a relationship, you go to a relationship to give to the relationship. You don't go to a relationship to take. It's in the giving and doing the loving acts for your partner that you actually truly receive the benefits. If you're expecting to or I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine, basically what you've got there is a transaction. It's just like horse trading. Because here's the thing, right? If you're with the right person, of course they're going to give to you anyway. If you are someone who is giving, and your partner is never giving back to you, you're just with the wrong person. Because there are people out there that when you give to them, they give back and they give to the relationship just as much as what you do, right? But that's all about finding the right person. If you're not with that kind of person, then there's no, you'll be basically burning the candle at both ends. You'll be giving 100% and never getting anything back. And obviously that just means that you're just with the wrong person, okay? But, try it out, because it may be the case that you're not with the wrong person. You could be with the right person, but you're just not putting in the effort. You're just expecting them to do everything. But you need to realize that you are 100% responsible for your relationship. And the moment you do that, the moment actually things get a lot easier, because you're no longer putting any expectation on them whatsoever. So you kind of do need to be kind of aware of what you are getting back in return. But you can't really have any expectation on what that kind of thing is, okay? So it does sound a little bit tricky, because basically what I'm saying sounds like you should be 100% responsible for your relationship, and you should give to that relationship and not expect anything in return. But on the other end, you kind of need to be receiving something, so what you've been giving is appreciated and wanted and respected. And basically, when you're with the wrong person, you'll be giving 100%, and it'll just be basically falling on deaf ears. It'll be kind of like you're kind of banging on a brick wall, or whatever that expression is, So that's how you kind of know. Like, if you give to that relationship and you take 100% responsibility for it, you're going to feel so much more happier. You'll notice that your partners are much more happier and giving and loving, and it's just a win-win for all. But you need to get to that point where you are 100% responsible for the relationship. You find the time to make that relationship work. Put in the effort. And if they're not putting in any effort, if they're not putting in any effort and they're giving you nothing in return, then you know that, hey, this isn't going to work, because we need to be a team. We need to be a team. We need to both be, really working on this relationship together. And if you're doing absolutely everything and they're not giving anything back, then obviously you're in the wrong kind of relationship. So communication is really super important in a relationship. And that's kind of like the next thing that I want to get into. You've got to really understand that, especially if you're in a heterosexual relationship, what you've got to let go of is the idea. If you're a man, you've got to let go of the idea that a woman thinks in the same way that you do. And if you're a woman watching this, you've got to let go of the expectation of your man thinking in the same way as a woman should think. You can't think that way. Men and women are different, usually. Usually very different kinds of people have different styles of communicating, right? So you have to let go of the expectation of them to behave the way that you are behaving, right? And that's one of the main issues are. So basically, if you're a woman watching this, you really need to tell your guy how you want to be treated, because sometimes they don't know instinctually what they should be doing, because perhaps they've never been in that many relationships before. Perhaps they don't know. Perhaps they didn't have a good role model growing up of good romantic relationships. Perhaps his parents weren't very loving towards each other. Perhaps he just doesn't know. So you need to tell him basically what you want, and stop expecting him to be a mind reader, because I see that's where a lot of women go wrong. They're expecting their men to be mind readers. Don't just think, oh, he should already know these things, because it might be the case that he doesn't know these things, okay? And with men, my advice for you is if a woman comes to you with a problem, don't fix it for her. If she wants you to fix it, then she'll ask you, basically. She'll ask for your opinion on what to do. But most of the time when a woman comes to you, she just wants to chat. She just wants someone who will listen to her. So just be a good listener and ask her questions. That's all you need to do. Just be a good listener. And most importantly, remember what she's telling you. Don't just let it go through one ear and out the other. Really pay attention to what she is saying, because it may be the case that you'll get quizzed on it later. So if she's telling you about something really important and you forget about it and she brings it up at a later date, you're going to be in trouble, basically. So you got to remember the gist of what she's saying. So try to really pay attention to her and truly listen to her. And if you do that, if you just do those two things, where you take 100% responsibility for the relationship and give and make time and do all those things, and then date them and just basically treat them like you did at the beginning of the relationship. So basically how you got them is how you keep them. And then just making sure that you get that communication down key. Women, don't expect your men to be mind readers, and guys, don't try and fix all of her problems. Sometimes she just wants you to listen to her and chat with her. That's all she wants sometimes. Okay, so that's kind of like my quick advice on basically how to keep a romantic relationship strong. You've really got to make time for each other. I don't care how busy you think you are, you can always make time for each other. You can always squeeze in a couple of hours here and there throughout the month to spend time together, to date each other. And if you do that, you should be pretty good. You know, you may not be the best, but you know, no relationship is the best. You know, you got to realize that, you know, we're all human, and you can't expect your partner to be perfect, and you can't especially expect yourself to be perfect all the time. But you can try your very best and put 100% into that relationship. And if you're with someone who's not willing to put in 100% as well, or just doesn't give any effort whatsoever, then you may need to reconsider the relationship and the decision that you made by being with them. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. If there's anything else that you'd like me to discuss, then please leave it down in the comments and I'll make a video on it. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.